Good morning, good morning.
Hear me?
I can hear you.
And it's Joe.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Patrick. How are you?
Good, good. How are you, Ken?
Good, good.
Joe, how are you?
Good, Patrick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
This game should move pretty fast because, as you note, uh, most of the most units can't even activate on turn one.
I will admit that, Joe, I went through this scenario this morning just to kind of put my toes in the water and see, so I wasn't caught completely off guard after we exchanged emails. And I just have this feeling that when you and I play, it will not be nearly as successful for me as playing solo this morning. Everything was coming up hood this morning. So
I don't know. It may, I haven't played it since the October, and I did take a look this morning, but I didn't play. It probably will come back to me, and I probably did play it a dozen times with others. So at one point, it was fresh in my. But I do remember that Hood moves very fast and really be caught by surprise with a couple of veteran initiatives in a row. So
right.
remember, you only really have one turn.
Exactly, exactly. But I want to send you a holiday thank you card for the minimum move of 6 because I rolled 3 ones in a row on activations, and that was nice. That was a very nice boon to be able to go 6.
Oh, there you go. Although as I recall, you really need to have a couple of movements, 7 and 8 at times. So the minimum of 6 is good, but it's right. You kind of have to get lucky once or. I don't remember anything about the Union side other than just trying to get away. But
I did make some notes that maybe we could talk about later, just as far as priorities. That after playing through it, what I want to do, but that will probably go completely out the window when the first init happens on turn 2.
well, that's a rule of history, right?
Oh yeah,
No plan survives first contact with the enemy.
exactly.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We'll get started. Welcome to everybody who's joining us on the line, as well as in the Vassal room. Looks like we have 10 or 12 people joining us. My name is Ken Lee. I've been putting together these instructional games the last several months, and we're going to continue to do them every other month or so until we don't have any more interest. And I think we will continue to have interest as more and more people get involved in the great campaigns of the American Civil War series. Joining us today for the game are Joe Balkoski, the original designer of the great campaigns of the American Civil War series, as well as Patrick Pence, who's a longtime player, and as well as, I guess, our resident videographer. He records a lot of these sessions, as well as has recorded a series of instructional videos on how to play the game. So if you haven't seen those, go to YouTube. They're very enjoyable. So with that, I thought I'd turn it over to Joe to talk a little bit about Hood Strikes North. That's the scenario we're going to do is a scenario from Hood Strikes North called, is it the Chance? Help me with this, Joe.
Great chance was lost.
The Great Chance was lost. So we thought we'd use something for Hood Strikes North for 2 reasons. Obviously for the instructional purposes, but also for introduce folks to the game. And Joe, can you give us a little bit of background about Hood Strikes North, why you decided to do a game on this, and maybe talk about its expected release date?
Okay, well, Hood Strikes North, as Ken said, is going to be the next big campaign series. General history of the selection of this topic, it really originates with Multi-Man Publishing. They're quite enthused about supporting great campaigns. They gave a general direction that they wanted to have a lower price point game in the future, because a lot of the games released have been big and somewhat expensive, and they suggested that we try to find a subject that would be smaller in component size and hence somewhat less expensive in price. So I really put my mind to it. There were many possibilities. The Kentucky campaign of 16 silo, none of them really fit well onto one map, and it was absolutely mandatory to have one map because that's the one major price. That's the one game in this series. So I studied this at great length, probably for a month or more, and used the ruler and my pencil, and at the scale of the game, tried to map out areas that could fit on one map. And what you see here is a one map depiction of November and December of 1860 to capture Nashville. It very, very barely fit onto one map with a nice reorientation a little bit. You could use Nashville off on the north side and then also get on the south edge of the map the areas where both armies came. So the general idea of this game is not only a cheaper price point for the customer, but it's also going to be for the rules have none of the complications of some of the games. It's almost meant to be an introductory game for people who haven't been in the series, but also obviously to appeal to those who love it. I mean, scenarios are quick to play, the campaign is quick to play, and the advanced game rules are dramatically shorter than recent games such as Atlantic Towers. So it's a very, very mobile campaign, and I promise you enjoy this, whether you're a beginner or an advanced. So that's about the story.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about this scenario we're playing today.
So obviously the game depicts that moment in late 1864 when Hood broke away Sherman into North Georgia and then northern Alabama, and in late November he decided to push on, attempt to capture Nashville. It was a desperate gamble because he was giving Sherman free rein in Georgia, which, as you well know, he took good advantage of. So essentially, Hood moves onto the map from northern Alabama, which is off the map to the south. And he tries to move very fast, as he did in reality, to push over the Duck River and the Harpeth River and capture Nashville. And that's what you'll see in the game. The Union was caught by surprise by the speed of this move. Two corps that had been moved up from northern Georgia, one under Schofield, one under Stanley, and they were really caught napping by this move. But meanwhile, in Nashville, the famous George Thomas was gathering troops to meet the emergency. And although Thomas won't be depicted in this scenario, he's a big player in the main game. So what you're seeing here is about 4 or 5 turns in from the start of the campaign game. It's a 2-turn short scenario that portrays Hood's flanking move around the main Union at Columbia, Tennessee, on the Duck River. Tried to pull off a Stonewall Jackson, as you will see in this scenario, and get behind an army under Stanley and Schofield and block their retreat back to Franklin and Nashville, which in reality he failed to do. Came very, very close. Hence the name of this scenario. A great chance was lost. Had it been a slightly different reality, you could have called this scenario the Battle of Spring Hill, but there really wasn't much of a Battle of Spring Hill. The Union slipped away, even though really Hood had gotten behind them. And you'll see the nature of it as Patrick and I play out this scenario.
Okay. And so can you give us a little description, either Patrick or yourself, about what the objectives are for the scenario?
Want me to do that, Patrick?
Sure,
or do you want to
sure. Go ahead. You designed it.
Okay, so basically, it's very simple. The Union Army has to get its main body, which is 5 infantry divisions under Stanley and Schofield, 3 wagon trains. They have to, by the end of the second turn of the scenario, establish a firm line of communication to Franklin, which, up in the northern half of the map. As simple as that. So they have to, we'll get into the details as we play, but you have to establish a line of communication for the 5 main infantry divisions of the Army, 3 wagon trains to Franklin for a variety of relatively simple. Hood has to stop and Hood has to block it.
Okay, very good. So with that, I think there are some movement restrictions on turn 1, correct?
Yes, and people should be seeing all of the units, which is most of them, having their turn 2 relief counters on top of them. Basically, only cavalry on both sides can move on turn 1. And believe me, Forrest, Nathan Bedford Forrest here is stars of this game. You'll see he's a very, very potent commander with a relatively small cavalry force, but it can do very major damage. And I'm afraid I'll probably be seeing that very soon. Union cavalry was caught by surprise in this campaign, and they were not big in numbers. They later did, but not at this point. They were not well led, and they were no match for Forrest at this point.
Okay. So you just cut out there, Joe. So, okay, you guys can get started then.
Okay.
We're ready? Okay, so turn 1, only cavalry can move on both sides, and Patrick has the first initiative. By the way, he's playing the Confederates, and I'm playing the Union.
Good luck to you, Joe. Distinct honor to play, and I hope this is going to be not too embarrassing for me. So,
it could be for me too.
That's right. As you said, Forrest seems like a pretty potent force, and since I get the first initiative, I'm going to use him to activate all the cavalry in his range. Actually, yeah, I think I'll start with just his stack with Chalmers, and he'll get a +3 to this roll. Because this module is a little rough, we're doing some of this stuff by hand, and that's okay. So I'm going to add some fatigue markers here for each of the units, and what I'm trying to do here with them is just establish some kind of a confrontation force, or maybe a good secure beachhead across the duck. So I'm going to roll 2 dice here and see what we get. +3. Okay, not bad. That is 9 movement points. So let me see here. I think I will move them as a unit and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is my first initiative. I'll roll for the next. And it is a tie, so Confederacy wins ties in this module as they do in the East.
Not throughout the whole campaign, but in this stage of the campaign, yes, they do. Later, the initiative will switch when.
Okay. I think I'll take the shot here with Forrest while I've got the opportunity to. We'll declare a cavalry assault on Johnson. So we'll increase them to F2 and see if he can at least drive them away. Here's his command roll, which is anything but a 6. Looks like he'll do it. And he's raring to go.
Got it.
All right. So if I'm looking at I got a +1 for the assault and a +1 for Forrest. And does he get a special additional +1?
Yes. As Hood does in this game, Forrest, when he undertakes a successful assault, gives a special +1.
Okay.
A die roll bonus just himself.
And you have no artillery, so I don't have to worry about covering that. So I think I'm looking at a +3 assault here. There's no flanking or ratio.
One for the tactical, one for forest, and one for the assault.
Okay. So here it is. First die is going to be Union. Second die is Confederate +3. And it is a +3. I think a disorganized and a retreat on both sides.
Okay, so adding 3 to myself.
Yeah. I will add 2 more to mine. And disorganize them.
And I will execute my retreat. It was a little R, right?
It was a little R,
R.
yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to get as far away as possible.
Okay.
Okay. I will end up.
Okay.
You can advance, Patrick.
I will advance into that hex. And they are disorganized and at 4, so I will roll the next initiative. It is Confederacy again. This time I will activate Jackson. And we'll give them a couple of fatigues, and he will send his cavalry, hopefully to support.
That's 2.
Okay. He is a, yeah, he's a corps commander. Alright, so +2. And he gets 12. Very nice.
Oh, wow. Hard for you.
Okay, so we will follow in suit here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Get him up close to forest. Okay, next initiative. It is yours.
No, and players may not know, but you have another cavalry division way down on the bottom of the map near.
I do. Buford's down there.
That one's a little. Keep an eye on him.
Okay.
So I'd be thinking about moving Wilson and Capron, block Forest and Jackson right now. Hope you fly right up that Lewisburg pike. Ever Hatch is in a position right Jackson. Oh, maybe my backing. Activate Will's. Is a corps command. He adds. Here's his die roll. He's going to activate just 2 dice. 6 movement points. What makes the decisions tough. Okay. 3, 5. Okay, I'll roll for initiative. Patrick.
Okay, I'm going to activate, let's see, I'm going to activate Armstrong with Forrest. So he will go to F2, and let's see what we get. +3, he gets 8, which is exactly what he would need to transfer over, and he will try a prepared attack on the march with Forrest. And let's see, does he have, he does have some, so he's going to get +1 for prepared, +1 for tactical, and I think a -1 for artillery in rolling.
That's right. So you have, yeah, +1 for the tactical, +1 for the prepared, and -1 for the artillery.
Okay, then I've got a net +1. Here we go. That's +4.
Ooh. Oh my.
Very nice.
That's a good one. So that's a DR for me. I'm routed. I'm just going to copy your fatigue 4 marker here.
Okay.
And I fortunately didn't lose a guy. Let me get a demoralized marker. So I can go up to 6 hexes. So let me see where I should go. It would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I can I think I'll just stay right here. That would be a 5th hex. Yeah, I think I'll retreat to that. Oh wait, I'm a 3 actually, not a 4.
Right, that was the first.
So that will be my route.
Okay. I think they will not advance. They will just stay right there. And I will roll the next initiative. It's me again.
You have some opportunities.
I do. Let's go ahead and, so I don't forget Buford like I did this morning. We'll activate him with +2. Give them a couple of fatigues. Alright, so they get a 7. And they will just move in mass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the blacksmith. Get some shoes for the horses. Next initiative. It's me again. Let's continue Buford's march. We'll go to F2. And I want to get them as far up that Franklin Pike as I can. So +2. They get 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they can stare across the creek at Wilson. Next initiative. It is a Union.
All right, very little I can do, but I think I'm going to have to risk moving R. Johnson with Croxton. Yeah, I will activate R. Johnson now with 1 brigade. So he is a +1. 2 dice, +1. 8 movement points. Goes to fatigue level 4. So his extended march is +1, I believe, correct?
That is correct.
I shall roll that right now. He's okay. So I have 8 movement points. And I have to think about what Forrest is going to do now, because he doesn't really have a clear opening to get over Rutherford Creek and cut that Franklin Pike. But with 2 activations, he could do it. So I'm thinking that I should move Johnson to the other side of Rutherford Creek and try to block the various fords. Yeah, this is tough because he is... Might make sense for me not to cross the creek and try to block every crossing site from my side of the creek by going to hex 2616 as such. 1, 2. So I can block the 2 fords of the creek there and also block Forrest from moving through that hex called Kedron. Not very good, but better than nothing. Okay, I'm going to roll for initiative now. That's me. I'm going to pass, Patrick, because I kind of like where Wilson is. And my demoralized unit under Hatch, I don't think he really could be in a better spot right now. So, over to you.
Okay. Well, I think I will take that opportunity with Forrest, like you were saying, just to see if he can live up to his reputation. He will activate both brigades with him. They will increase. And Armstrong's going to F3. +3 to this roll. A little tired. A little tired.
That helps me.
It does. So they're going to go up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that was
well, you got
just
next to
enough.
me, so you could do an assault.
I could.
Yeah.
Here's the next. Let me do the extended march for Armstrong. He is just barely okay.
Okay.
So initiative time. And it's me again, and yes, I will attempt an assault. And we'll move them both up 1. Armstrong to 4. So let's see if this assault goes off. We're rolling for Force Command. And it does. So now we've got, I think, just standard +1 for the assault, +1 for Forest. And let's see. You have no artillery to worry about. And then the +1 for the tactical, so another +3.
Oh, hold on, Patrick. You have a nice ratio on me.
Oh, I do. Let's see.
You have a 3-to-1 on me.
Perfect. So now I got a +2 for that.
Right.
So that is a +5 net for the CSA. Here we go.
Yeah.
And it is a +4 result.
Well, yet again, very luckily, I avoided the manpower loss by one die roll, by 1 pip. And I'm already at 4, so I'm going to just gain a demoralized marker.
But according to the notes I made this morning, I have achieved my turn 1 priorities, which was secure Duck Creek and hopefully get the Union forces, the Union cavalry, out of any kind of blocking position for Hood and Cheatham coming through.
I think you may have, because it's going to be a very hairy start of turn 2 for me. Because you have a wide open ford there once I execute my route. That's not so good. Okay, let me do my route. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll stay there, Patrick.
Okay.
That's it.
I did get a small fatigue on that one, so I went ahead and fatigued out Ross, and they will advance as a group into 26-16. And I'll roll the next initiative. It's mine again, but I think I want to keep Buford's cavalry fresh, and I don't really want to attack across the creek, even though that might help keep Wilson busy for the next turn. So I think I'm going to pass at this point.
Yeah, and I don't have anything to do other than with Wilson, and I wouldn't do anything with Wilson. So, yeah, me too.
Okay. So we go on to the recovery phase.
So we're on to turn 2, and we'll let you guys take it from here.
Okay, Patrick, you want to roll for initiative?
Do you have any leader transfers that you would like to do?
Good question. So one thing I should explain, General Schofield, who is currently occupying Hex 1814, he's with Cox's division right now. He's a little bit of an unusual leader. He actually commanded a corps in this campaign, the 23rd Corps, but he kind of was a de facto army commander, even though he nominally was not. You know, the Army of the Cumberland was led by Thomas, who was in Nashville at this time. But Schofield was the senior leader on the scene, so he kind of had de facto command over Stanley's 4th Corps. So according to the basic rules of the game, Schofield can activate up to 5 infantry divisions and 3 wagon trains at once, as long as the infantry divisions are part of the 4th or 23rd Corps. So no doubt I will do that at some point in the game. So let me see. Transfers. I'm going to transfer Schofield out of the hex with Cox, and I'm going to move him with Kimball.
Okay.
That way he's in a more central location, and he can, remember, he's a de facto district commander, and so in the position I just transferred him to, he's in a much better location to activate a bunch of people all at once.
Great. I think I want to... that's a good question. I like Forrest where he is, but is he more useful getting the rest of getting Chalmers, engaged and up there to help? I think I'm going to keep Forrest where he is for now, and obviously I'm not going to move either the Stewart or Cheatham off of their stacks, so they're good. Do you want to talk about the specific? I saw Ken put the victory point conditions up there at the top. Do you want to talk about how the Franklin Pike point values work for the divisions?
Sure. You might have to refresh my memory on this, but the wagons and the 5 infantry divisions in the Union Army have to end the game within 10 movement points of Franklin, or be within 3 hexes of a pike hex, and then have the pike be connected to Franklin no more than how many hexes, Patrick?
12 hexes.
12 hexes. So you can either trace a direct path of 10 movement points to Franklin, or you can be within 3 hexes of a pike and have the pike be clear for a path of up to 12 hexes. So obviously the Confederates have to get between me and Franklin in some capacity.
Right.
I have options, though. I mean, I can move my wagons off the pike. It does slow them down a lot, but I can try to move to the west of the pike. Actually, remember, north is to the right and west is to the top. So I can get on a minor road heading kind of toward the mountains and the woods and try to get to Franklin that way. That's an option for me. It would be nice to use the pike because the wagons move best on the pike. Anyway, and the only way you can block me is with a force of combined combat value of 3 or more, and cavalry only counts for half combat value in that calculation. So if you had 4 cavalry in a hex, it would only count for 2.
Okay, so at some point we're going to mass those cavalry as one possibility, if in short of not getting infantry onto the pike.
Exactly right.
Okay, I think we're done with that. So I went last, I believe, so I'll roll the first initiative. And it is Union.
Ooh, that's nice.
That is nice.
I get that first initiative, if you had it, might have caused me some major problems. So,
looking at the victory point schedule, I think each one is worth 7. So I ostensibly want to get 5 units to get the 35, which is over the marginal line. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And of course losses play into that, and very luckily I didn't have losses in those losing combats I had.
Right.
So that helps me. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to use Schofield right now, and he will activate all. So I'm going to do Schofield with the max. He's going to activate 5 infantry guys and all 3. No, he can't reach. Yeah, he can reach all of the wagons. So that was. I guess it was good I transferred Schofield in that way. Okay, so let me roll for Schofield. It's adding 1 to the die roll for the march.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Well, it's been a joy playing with you today.
Okay, I'm going to make a couple of fatigue markers.
Yeah, this went a little differently this morning when I practiced it. So this is going to add some new nuance to what I have to do.
Okay, so wagons move normally, with the exception that the first move in an activation across a non-pike hex side costs 1 extra. I don't think I'm going to have to do that right now. However, I pretty much want to leave a wagon always occupied by a friendly infantry unit. So, and remember, wagons are very difficult to move into. So I'm going to move this wagon under Stanley. I'm going to move wagon A. Well, either way, I'm going to have to spend 2 movement points to enter an occupied hex once they start moving. So wagon A will move 5 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving right into Spring Hill, as they did in reality. And then Wagner under Stanley will do the same, and note that I have 7 movement points, so it will cost me 2 extra to go in there using all 7. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's Stanley and Wagner's move. Now I'm going to move Kimball under Schofield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll stop.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe I could try to fatigue Forrest. But if that didn't work, it might be a disaster. Okay, I'll play it safe and move Kimball there. I have to be very, very careful with my wagons. You know, by the way, the game is playing out very, very close to reality now. So, I will move... I'm going to risk it. I'm going to move a wagon 7 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the same way, and the wagons see the same thing right behind him on the pike. They're very vulnerable there. But I'm hoping, you know, it's going to take a while for you to get there, so I'm hoping to get another initiative between the time you can do something and when I can move.
Well, that is what's great about this is, you know, if you get 5 right up there, it almost becomes mathematically certain. So you can just say, hey, let's cut this and, you know, we'll do it again or something, swap sides.
Okay, I'm moving wood now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I also have to know that you're going to pursue me across the duck at Columbia, so I have to watch out for the rear.
Right. And
so I will now move Ruger, get rid of his fort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I'll leave Ruger there. And get rid of Cox's fort, and I will block 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's worth me going one more hex to there, because you could swing around me and cross the Rutherford at the ford, and I couldn't stop you unless I moved into this hex. And that's the max I can move with Schofield. So Schofield did a good job that turn. But the next initiative could be a key. Okay, shall I roll for initiative?
Please do. Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right.
Well,
So
fun begins.
it does begin. This adds a new wrinkle because, as you said, now I can pursue through Columbia, which I did not even consider what I was going to do with Lee and Clayton because they were locked there essentially. So now I can either try to use them to approach from the rear guard and try to sap you a little bit. That's one possibility, or at least try to get around a flank. So I am gonna do that since they're closest. I'm going to activate Stevenson and Clayton with Lee, and I'll give them both a fatigue here. +2 to the roll. Here we go. And it's 4. So it's going to get them not quite where I wanted, but we'll work on it. All right, so we'll...
However, you can move on the railroad north, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go.
Right.
We'll go that way instead. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, not the greatest opening for them, but we'll work with it. Initiative. It's you again. Well, this is looking bleak already.
So I don't like Post being left out on a limb like that, but he's not important right now for the victory conditions. He doesn't count toward the supply line. The wagons are in a vulnerable spot right now. So I am going to again activate Schofield. He's in a perfect position again to activate everybody. Yeah, Schofield again with 5 divisions and 3 wagons. Okay, here's his roll. Add 1. Wow, he gets the most valuable player award.
I'd say.
Okay, again, I have to be very careful about the wagons. Kind of thinking that I almost could fly up to unescorted right now. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. I could be very close to just a couple of hexes away from Franklin if I just went all the way. However, I'm a little worried that Buford might blow away Wilson. And I've learned very, very carefully in this game that Forrest is somebody to be really feared. Whenever you think that he's can't do something, he can.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to try to be careful and move again as I did last time. I'm going to move the wagon 4 hexes. This time I should be more careful with... I tell you what, I'm going to fly with 1 wagon unescorted, 6 hexes. Wagon A is going to move 6 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get to the other side of that creek. This is sure tricky. Did I make him a 2? I didn't. I'll increase his fatigue. I'll increase Wagner's fatigue to 2. I kind of like this hex for Wagner. One, 2, 3, 4. That really is in a nice blocking position.
Definitely.
Okay, now the tricky part for wagons B and C, who I'm increasing the fatigue for right now. I guess I'm going to fly with them unescorted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to have to hope that my other divisions can bring up the rear guard and block you. Because Hood is going to come very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now the key. Increase Wood's fatigue to 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now the game is diverting from reality because the Union is moving much more speedily than they did in the actual event. 29, Hex 2914, Spring Hill, right here, is pretty much where the Confederates had a very nice opportunity to block the pike. Okay, so here's Ruger, increasing his fatigue to 2. I guess I can't do better than just
Straight up the pike, yeah.
move up the pike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm a little worried that you could use the road to the west and get around me. So maybe I should think about Cox there. Okay, I'm increasing Cox's fatigue. Yeah, I am a little afraid that you could move to the west of the Franklin Pike. But that would be a pretty dramatic move. I guess I'm going to have to live with that. So, Cox, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now Schofield. I increase Kimball's fatigue to 2. Okay, 1 to leave your zone of control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am trying to, I can strive to block you if you go to the west of the railroad. Well, I think that's a pretty good move. So I shall roll initiative.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, wait, I have a cavalry guy up there. I didn't even see him. Okay. Me.
Okay. This could be over pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the initiatives when I needed them.
Oh yeah,
but
3 in a row.
much
Yeah.
more to the point. I got the good movement. I got a 6, a die roll of 6 with Schofield, and another of 5.
Right.
So I am going to activate Stanley now, who is in Hex 3315. And I'm going to do the 3 wagons and Wood and Wagner. Now all of these are going to be extended marches. So let me make the fatigues 3 for all of them right now.
Okay.
Who's activating all that group?
Stanley, the Corps Commander, in Hex 3315.
Ah, yes. Sorry. Thanks.
And let me roll for Stanley now. +1 to the roll. Here's the die roll. Oh my!
I would say that's game. Yeah.
I don't. George Thomas wouldn't have had to fight the Battle of Nashville had this happened.
Sure.
But anyway, let me. Let's see what Hood can do.
Sure.
Okay, let me roll for the extended march for Wagon A. Wagons are very bad on extended marches, so you add 1 for being a Union unit and 1 for being a wagon. That's correct, right?
I believe that is correct. Yes.
So +2 to Wagon A, extended march. So he's disorganized. But he does move 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he'll hold in Franklin. You know what? Maybe I could... No. Okay, Wagon B, extended march, same thing. He's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can't make it in because that would cost 3 more.
Now, just out of curiosity, why didn't you move Wagon A into Fort Granger? Just that way you could, prevent the roadblock?
That's a good point. I should have.
just curious.
I guess I was, I'm paranoid about Forrest because I thought he could there's a chance he could get to the other side of the Harpeth and attack and destroy the wagon.
Well, I think the missed opportunity for him was I should have opened with his move to go right for him, and I didn't. I went with the infantry. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I confess, you're totally right. That would have been the right thing for me to do. Yeah. Well, I'll live with it. Okay, Wagon C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing. And now Wood. Oh, wait. The Wagon C extended march. He's disorganized. Okay, so here's the die roll for Wagner. Add 1 for the extended march. He's okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now the extended march for Wood. Add 1. He's disorganized. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'll roll for initiative. Okay, Patrick.
All right. Well, you've got the marginal victory already, or probably even more substantive than that. Like you said, I don't know that there's much that I can do other than scoring manpower losses, but even that is dicey. Yeah, let's move Forrest. Let's see what he can do.
I would say you have a slim shot, Patrick, if you could inflict some losses on me and somehow block every other remaining guy from tracing the communication to Franklin.
Right.
But you'd have to, at a minimum, probably inflict 2 or 3 manpower losses on me, but I guess worth a shot.
Sure. Okay, well, Forrest then, +3. Not great. So he gets a 7. We will go... Do I try to get him against Wilson, which seems difficult at best? Or I just go after the weaklings up here? I think I will. We'll go 1, 2, 3. And I think Armstrong would make a normal attack on Johnson and Croxton. So we'll do that.
So that would be a +1 for the ratio.
And +1 for
plus
4.
1 for the tactical.
Mm-hmm. And he has no artillery, so
No
nothing
artillery.
there. Okay, well, let's see if we can score a manpower loss or.
So it's just Armstrong, right?
Just Armstrong, right? Well, he can only attack with 1, right, on the march.
Right. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, you could wait to do an assault next turn, but that would only give you another.
Right.
I mean, it's worth a shot, but then you'd use another fatigue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just go with Armstrong marching. Here we go. +2 for Confederate, and he gets a +5.
Did it? Yeah, you. I take a manpower loss.
All right.
And he also goes to 4. Increase. Hey Ken, if you're already at demoralized 1 and you get another demoralized, does it go to 2?
It does.
Yes, I believe it does.
Okay. So I better just get him the heck out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
And they will hold right there. And
So you. Oh, so the who's the other guy with Armstrong?
Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So he's gonna stay.
yeah. Initiative. It's you again. Well, this could be it.
I'm gonna activate Schofield with 3 divisions. Here's his die roll, +1. Uh-oh. Okay, so he finally didn't do so good. Okay, Ruger goes to fatigue level 3. Here's his extended march, add 1. He's disorganized. And he moves 2. 1, 2. Cox goes to fatigue level 3. Here's his extended march, add 1. He's okay. 1, 2. And Kimball goes to fatigue level 3. Here's his extended march. He's okay. And he moves 2. So Kimball, where he is right now, is actually within 10 movement points of Franklin. So unless you block it, he could get the victory points.
Right.
Okay, let me roll for initiative. You.
Okay. Well, let's do this exercise in what might have been. We'll activate Hood or Cheatham's core.
So minimum of 6.
Okay. All right. Minimum 6.
Oh, and by the way, Patrick Johnson's division, who is with in the stack adjacent to Cheatham, he can be activated by any leader because he actually belongs to Lee, but he was attached to Hood's command here, so you could put him with Cheatham now if you wanted to.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think I'll leave him working with Stewart for the moment. Let's see. Minimum 6. Hopefully something better. It's 6.
Well, you got 6.
Okay. So I think we'll just go. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like this at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. There we go. We get him to there. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, going up around 17-17. Okay, so the race is on. Here comes Pride of the backstretch. Unless you get the initiative. Nope, I got it. Alright, we'll cheat him again. Minimum 6. 6. Got a fatigue 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Initiative.
I'm getting a little nervous.
Alright. Hood goes to, let's see, cheat him to 3. He's got to thread the needle, though. That's what's difficult.
He does. Yeah.
And I've got 2 initiatives in which to do it. I don't think I can, but we'll try. All right, minimum 6. Oh, we got 8. There's the one you were talking about.
The 8. Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 3 left over.
So clearly I'm going to do a cavalry retreat. And he's only half, so he is a minus...
minus 4, I believe?
4.
Yeah.
Okay, here's his roll. 1, you don't lose anything. And I get a fatigue. He's already disorganized. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can resume.
But I've got 3 points, and I can either go up and get in Schofield's face, but that doesn't help me too much. I need to get around Ruger, and I think you've got him situated in just such a way that I'm not going to have enough initiatives to get to the toll house. Fine cookies that they are. Well, make a play for it. We'll go here. Let's see if we can go over land and get around.
Yeah, that's the best move, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you get another lucky roll for your fatigue level 4, you do have a shot.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Initiative. Oh, I need extended march rolls.
Right.
Should have done that in order, but I will do them. Claiborne first. He's okay. And then Bate. He's okay. Brown. He's okay.
Okay.
All right, initiative. It is mine.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you could do this.
All right, let's take them to 4. And see if we can at least get them somewhat positioned. They get a minimum of 6. And they get the 6. So, we'll go 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do the extended march first.
Yeah, and you could force march.
So now you do the extended march before the forced march because it would.
You'd have to do the extended march actually before you move, but
okay.
It now, no big deal. But I mean, that determines if you disorganize, then you can't do
exactly.
Yeah.
So extended march first +1. He's okay. So he will force march and get an additional 4. So we will flip him disorganized and lose a manpower. And go 1, 2. And I think we'll use those last 2 points to make a normal attack.
So how many extra points did you got? 4 extra.
I got 4 extra, and I just used the last 2 there.
So, right, you're right.
Okay, so let's do a normal attack. It's gonna be, oh well, +0 for that.
But you do have Clayburn, which is good. Yeah.
He's attacking.
Clayburn's your best tactical. Yeah.
+2 for the tactical. We're going to take a little bit on the rolling artillery, -1.
Wait, I think it's a.
It's not rolling. Yeah, it's a clear. -2.
So it's -2.
-2. And really, I'm just trying to sap them out. So +0, +2 attack, -2 artillery, tactical. I don't see anything else. Do you? Oh,
well,
and -1 for ratio.
-1 for the ratio.
Yeah, so it is a -1 attack. That sounds like Hood's kind of thing.
That does sound like Hood's kind of.
Gotta impress Buck. Here we go. -1 for the Confederate, and it is a -1.
Well, the good thing is you essentially paralyzed me by giving me a fatigue. However,
I did lose a manpower on that one, I believe. I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so he will take a manpower loss, decrease, and so we've offset there.
Right. However, you're sitting on the pike.
I am on the pike, but you've got.
And Ruger's not going to make it. So, Hood did well.
You got 5 in there, so that's 35 points flat.
Yeah.
And it's 32 for a marginal on this one, right?
32, yeah.
Okay, so I need to be.
I guess I'm a little ahead of you on the manpower loss now because yours count more than mine.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay, yes, that's right. Yes, I'm a -3 and you're -2.
So, I mean, in essence, you have to somehow smash one of those guys.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting in a good flanking potential position.
You are. You absolutely are.
So what's the 175 Ohio? There are 2. And I'm 5. So let's start with what's Brown got? Oh, Brown's got better. Okay, so Bates going to come up. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and he has 3 left.
Did he roll for disorganization?
He's about to right now. Disorganized +1. He's okay. So he has 1, 2, 3. So he's 3 left over. Well, this is a pickle because if I attack Ruger and he gets a good retreat, he can still. Well, if he goes all the way up towards Forest Hill, he's going to be within the 10. So
True.
I'm gonna. There's a pro-con here.
It is a pro-con. On the pro for you, if I have to retreat, it looks like I would take a retreat loss, though, because there's no road escape out of that hex.
Right.
So that would be a good for you. But true, you might push him to within range of Franklin.
Right. Or I could do Bates second and bring Cox. Go after Cox. Bring Brown up first. Well, I move Bate. So let's do the attack on Ruger and see what happens. Hopefully we'll get something substantial. So it is a +0 for the attack, -2 for the artillery, and a +3 for the flank, final flank.
+3 for the flank and nothing for tactical.
Okay, so
+1.
We'll just do the +1. Probably a mistake, but we'll give it a shot. +1. Oh, huge mistake. -4. Could not have gone any worse.
No, that's about the worst. Well, it is the worst I've ever had.
Oh boy. Okay. It all started so promising. All right, that's a -4 for me, I believe. With that's a 2D. Yeah. Now I'm just giving you points.
Yeah, your luck has been pretty abysmal.
That's all right. No, Ken, you got it. Okay, there you go. Yikes! Yikes, indeed.
I could actually do a voluntary
You
retreat to
can.
prevent Brown from smashing him. At this point, it doesn't really matter because
You're up on the points, yeah.
I'm up on the points, so I think I'd rather keep him there. So that, yeah, let me keep him there.
Okay. Well,
So now Brown.
yeah. And now we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His extended march is a 5 going to 6, so he's going to flip. So, what were you saying about abysmal? I'm used to that.
Yeah, well, Wood wasn't the luckiest guy.
Yeah. Okay, so he's got 5 now, and so he's got a 2-1. So we'll give it a shot.
On Ruger or
No, on the 175 Ohio.
Okay, so it's a +1 for the ratio, a +2 for the tactical.
Right. And no flanking on that, so just a +3?
+3.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And it is +3.
So it's a D little r for me, and you're already fatigued.
Right.
However, you could advance into the hex, so I gain 3 fatigues. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll move in with him. Okay.
And Brown will.
Oh, wait, I didn't organize him. There we go.
Okay. Brown will move into there. Oops. Okay.
So Cheatham's score is completely shot right
It
now.
is. He's done. They're done.
Okay.
Initiative. It's mine. I like to play a little game called Reality, and I think at this point I'm going to. Hood will send a nice little courier over with some peach brandy or something, and say, "Look, we gave it a shot, but you're well supplied in Franklin, so I don't think we need to keep going."
I don't think you have a shot. Yeah, but Hood made a noble effort there.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. I had notes this morning for turn 1 priorities, and I think turn 1 went swimmingly for Forrest. That was to open some ford crossings and then try to disorganize or fatigue any Union cavalry he had encountered, and try to get them up as close to, the southern, or maybe get Buford up as far as he could up the Franklin Pike. But having Wilson there was a nice little block. But yeah.
As I remember from playing this as the Confederate player, I think I learned that maybe, at least from my perspective, and in no way am I saying this was optimal, but I kind of played it that far. I tried to avoid combat with Forrest on turn 1 because he's not going to get much more than a +2 or maybe tops +3 as you got on me, and yeah, that might hurt me a bit, but it does give you fatigue levels. I mean, it's going to bring him up to fatigue 3, maybe 4.
Right.
And as I remember, and believe me, I have no idea whether this was optimal, but it's worth trying again when you have a chance to solo it, is trying to get around and avoiding combat and coming up toward Franklin on that Lewisburg Pike and
Right.
avoiding combat and trying to get in that on the Franklin Pike between Laurel Hill site and Franklin, and then generally making it really nasty for the wagons.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, I got I got 3 or 4 initiatives in a row, and in 2 straight initiatives, I got what? I got
Six,
13
a 6 and a 5, yeah.
Yeah, so that was that pretty much ended it in terms of the wagons.
Right.
But believe me, if Hood had gotten those 3 initiatives or 4 initiatives in a row, it would have been a very different game. But
Absolutely. I mean,
nevertheless, yeah.
when I did solo it this morning, I did essentially the same thing with Forrest, but his opening movement was 13, so he did get a nice flank on Johnson and knocked him out, and then the other one got a nice demoralize as well. And that completely opened it up, and yes, I got 3 initiatives in a row, and Hood was sitting in Spring Hill just waiting. He had everything set up. So,
Wow.
yeah, it can really change.
As in so many of these one-turn games, who gets the initiative the first few times is often determines the outcome of the scenario.
Definitely.
So.
I could see that this is a nice racing scenario, and just like Lee versus Pope or anything like that, where it's just firstest with the mostest. But it was a pleasure. Yeah, I really wish I had gone back now and in the Wayback Machine and opened turn 2 with Hood to really go after the wagon trains there while they were unprotected. But live and learn.
So, Joe, before we close here, can you talk a little bit about some of the other scenarios in the campaign game? What's all included in the Hood Strikes North package?
So this is scenario 3. Scenario 1 is a very, very simplistic cavalry scenario in which Forrest comes on against the Union cavalry that you see in this game, but very scattered, and it's essentially just a cav-on-cav battle of only 1 turn or maybe 2 turns. So it's kind of an introductory scenario. Scenario 2 is kind of complex. It's called the Race for Columbia. It's a 7-turn game, and it basically replicates the first 7 turns of the campaign. That is Hood's army coming on, Schofield coming up from a parallel pike in the southeastern corner of the map, and then racing up these parallel pikes to reach Columbia first. The Union had quite a head start, but it's probably the most challenging basic game scenario because Hood has his whole army and has a shot at seizing Columbia before the Union does, but very, very unlikely. So ultimately, typically what you see in this scenario is what he ends up doing in that one too, but toward the end of it. So scenario 4 is what happened the next day after the scenario that Patrick and I just finished. November 30th, 1864 was the Battle of Franklin. As you well know, Hood, if you read the accounts, he became extremely frustrated at the lost chance of cutting the Union Army off from Franklin at Spring Hill. And in a rather irrational fit, he decided that his best option was to attack Franklin frontally, which he did with catastrophic results. A lot of his generals, including Forrest, said that pull off another flank movement as he had done on the Duck, except do it on the Harpeth River. And typically in scenario 4, that's what the Confederate player tries to do. It's very, very difficult to replicate stupidity in history, and you very rarely have a grand assault being made against Schofield's army in a fort at Franklin, because it would have been the equal of like a -2 attack with 60 strength points. And
So you're saying there's a chance?
exactly. So scenario 5 is an unusual one. Forrest was detached from Hood to try to capture Murfreesboro, which is way down on the northeastern corner of the map. It failed very badly. It's a very simplistic scenario, and it's over in a couple of turns, just a handful of units. Scenario 6 is the Battle of Nashville, which, as you know, is the first time the Union takes the offensive, and Thomas is in command. And then we have a Hood retreat scenario in which mostly Wilson's cavalry, now very heavily reinforced, almost an overwhelming collection pursues the very badly beaten army and mostly engages Forrest on a mobile retreat. And I think that's it. Maybe there's another one that I'm forgetting for the time being.
And then the campaign covers how many turns? And
32 turns from November 25th to December. Something like around Christmas, around December 25th or so.
But there's a lull in there if you have a 7-turn lull or something for winter or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
In reality, I don't remember the date. A couple of days before the battle, well, early in December, it was a freak winter storm of tremendous severity. It was more of an ice storm than a snowstorm, and it completely paralyzed the armies for almost a week, and that's replicated in the game at an unpredictable time. And it really makes things tricky because, Hood has to race against that possibility that winter can hit. And if you look at Nashville on the map, it's the most heavily fortified city of any. Well, maybe Richmond is equally fortified, but of all the GCACW games, Nashville is very heavily fortified. And if the Union Army entrenches in there, very tough for Hood, but he could make a shot at it. It's a race for the Union player to get reinforcements into Nashville as Hood approaches the city. It's a very exciting campaign game that has gone either way. And I've probably played it 8 times. So anyway, yeah, it's...
I know we had a couple of the campaign games, actually multiplayer campaigns of the Hood Strikes North played at this past year's Winter Offensive in Bowie, Maryland, and everybody came away with that with a very positive outlook toward the game, and we're very excited to finally have this game in print. And if all goes well, maybe we'll see that hopefully by next Winter Offensive. And then we can look forward to the next game in the series. We also have on to Richmond sometime in the future after that, correct?
That's right. On to Richmond's being worked on right now. The maps are being done. Really beautiful maps. A great improvement over the originals.
I can vouch for that. I'm actually playtesting it right now. When we started off playtesting on the original maps, and you can't even see where the things are, and then the new maps are there, and it's so much easier on your eyes. So yeah, great improvement.
You can't read the hex numbers on the original.
And I've actually the first time I ever played the On to Richmond campaign, and I'm having a wonderful time playing with Tebow. It's a great campaign, and to put all 3 of those games together, the On to Richmond and the Grand Taste Command, and now the new Petersburg module all together in one is going to be a great combination. So we're looking forward to that as well. So good.
That would have to make the pre-order though, and I expect it'll be put up for pre-order sometime in the summer.
Yeah, that'll be ways down the road. So okay, we also have the reprint of Stonewall Jackson's Way for everybody who's on the line. That I think it's going to be coming out about the same time as the Hood Strike North, and hopefully when the governor of Maryland opens up great MMPs start printing again, we'll see both of those out pretty quickly. So. Okay. Well, I want to thank both Patrick and Joe for joining us today. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. It's been enjoyable for me, and hopefully instructional for everybody who joined in. For those folks who have joined in, please feel free to post something on Discord or send an email about the session, whether you enjoyed it, any way we can improve these in the future. I already have a couple folks lined up for next time. Hoping you get Chris Withers involved, one of the other designers of the Great Campaign series. And we'll look for that in a couple months. So thanks again for joining us, and see you all next time.
Yes, thank you, Ken. Right. Thank you, Joe, for helping me recreate history.
Okay. A great chance was lost.
It was indeed. Right. Have a great one, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I have a question for you, Joe. Having looked, have you enjoyed more designing war games or writing all the books you've written?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, Books present, really give me the opportunity to do exactly what I want to do. I've been very lucky in that my editors and agents and so forth have just pretty, whatever I do with my books. Name's pretty much the same, but you remember you're working for a very intelligent, dedicated group of gamers. Tougher for me games because you're really happy. And have fun. The books are a little bit more of an ego-driven thing. Although obviously I do try to make people happy when I write my book too. And you can't really answer that question without also understanding money. Because games, there was a time when you couldn't make a living games. So books were more entertaining to me because they promised
They actually paid you something.
feeding my children.
Is that still the case, though? I mean,
No, it's reversed now. It's quite reversed. Because the gaming hobby has remained relatively steady, although obviously we've aged and haven't brought in many young people. But it's just as firm today as it was 30 years ago. And of course, as you well know, game companies saw the light of day, and they started charging much more exorbitant prices for games. And people are paying it. It's the law of supply and demand, and it helps designers because have $150 game. The chunk the designer gets is much better than what I was used to, which was a $30 game.
right.
When I'm getting multi-man publishing royalties now, it's actually a decent. I couldn't send my child to college on it, but it is significantly better than books. Books have kind of very few people read history anymore. Unless the history authorship has turned into the 1% and the 99%. 1% of the authors sell 90% of the books, and the other 99% of the authors sell 10% of them. I'm unfortunately in that smaller group.
Well, as far as the economics are concerned, when you think about it, if you buy a book, most likely you're going to shell you out your $20, and you're going to read it once. But if you buy a game and it's a good game and you like it, you're going to pull it off again and again. I know a lot of people put them on their shelves and never play them. But even if it's for $100 for me, I don't mind at all because I know I'm going to buy that game and I'm going to have hundreds of hours of enjoyment playing it. So it's a different economics for me.
It's totally true, and I sympathize and understand with the reason why companies want to charge that amount of money. Survival of the company is at stake. They understand that it's a very limited market, and they did the right thing. And people are, very rarely hear complaints about people saying it's too much. It is a shock when you're used to I was getting into this hobby. Games were selling for $7.95. So, those days are gone. But anyway, I'm lucky. I have, both. My books continue to be in print, and always probably will be in print for a long time. And the Civil War series remains. That has been a very fortunate